So the new chapter of 393 is here, and I have gotta say, I'm kinda sad and I'm kinda disappointed. Togashi really teased us with that Nobunaga Nen ability, and then just said, yeah, not quite, and just had him end his fight in the most quick and precise and decisive manner possible by just stabbing Luini in the head and ending the fight right there. And I've got to be honest with you, I'm kind of sad. I know it wasn't going to be a long fight if it did break out, but I would have liked to have seen Nobunaga's Nen ability. Also, I've got to correct myself because in the previous Hunter x Hunter review, I absolutely butchered Nobunaga's name here. I called him Nobunga, and I'm an idiot for that, so my bad. GG. Also, if you like this video and you like Hunter x Hunter and maybe some Jujutsu Kaisen or even Chainsaw Man, make sure to like and subscribe to the video, and maybe even share it with a friend if you like. Let's get into it. Nobunaga casually just stabs Luini in the head here and says, I don't understand what you're saying. Well, you just stabbed this man in the head here. He says, about the warehouse, if you did that without wanting to pick a fight, then you're just an idiot. And if you're going to talk about destroying the world, then I'll destroy you. Honestly, this is a cold line, and it's a cold finisher from Nobunaga here. But, like I said in the previous bit here, I'm very, very sad that we didn't get to see Nobunaga's Nen ability here. No longer than Luini's body is on the floor, cold. I can't show that for YouTube censorship reasons, but none other than Sidonka turns up with his gang asking where are our underlings, and then Nobunaga simply and casually says he killed them all, to which Sidonka look at the body and freak the fuck out, which you have every right to do. You're seeing a body that is dismembered in half. I also want to point out, you guys can't see this because it's blurred, but there's a nice little detail here. I'm assuming that after Nobunaga has killed this man, either via the stab in the head or the head coming completely off, his Nen ability actually closed, chopping his body in half, and we'll see a little bit more into that in just a couple of seconds. But Nobunaga then says it's been decided we'll crush the Hailey ourselves. It was fun while it lasted, but we're going back to look for Hisoka with Finks and Phaeton chiming in. Finks then says, tell us anything on the Hailey, like where the boss is, because we can do that one first. Phaeton then says, we'll get the stuff behind the door on right later. Again, Sidonka isn't thinking right now. All he keeps saying is, our interests just happen to align, and I know that, but it makes me happy. I've decided I swear I'll get an autograph from each of them. This dude is literally just fangirling because of the Phantom Troupe. I have to question what type of a person you have to be to see another dude holding a head of a man in front of you, and you still are freaking out. Hunter x Hunter's a wild, wild verse, man. It's at this point that we're taken to the room where Luini has basically came from here, and we're introduced to a bunch of people. Gelato, Damon, Vaconte, I hope I'm pronouncing these names right here, Matvia, you know, there's a bunch of different people here all talking about losing Luini. It's kind of a bummer here. The best way to efficiently hunt for people is from the hideout, and security has gotten stricter. Hunting outside now is a bit too dangerous. But they're then talking about what if someone manifests the same ability as Luini. But we can also see that in this room, this is where Luini had yoinked the previous guards that were in the room with the Phantom Troopers. We see their bodies just sort of laying around. You can only imagine that these people have been pulled into this room and then just jumped, basically. But it's interesting that we're getting to see sort of the base of operations for where these Nen hunters we're just chilling from. Remember, these are all people that have all gained abilities from Marina and Marina's little weird Nen game here, and some of these guys are waiting for their ability to manifest, and some of them already have it. As New World Order pointed out, this is kind of just like a Nen production line of the more people they infect with this game, the more abilities that they are going to produce, making them even more harder for the Phantom Troupe to combat and for any other people that get in their way to combat. So it's going to be interesting watching these guys. These guys are kind of like the underdogs in the story right now. It's more about quantity over quality for these guys right now, and just sort of overwhelming the enemy right here. Switching back over to Creepy Blood Dude, we see him waking up in a pile of trash here. So it turns out Hisoka didn't actually go with him. Instead, he just put this man to night-night and went to go and enjoy a film here. We see Lynch waking him up here, and the two talk about how dangerous Hisoka is, stating that he's more dangerous than anyone we've ever met, and we'll have to let Henry know right away. These guys go to inform Henry here, and Henry goes to find Hisoka. Finding Hisoka just vibing inside of a cinema. Henry sits down next to Hisoka here and looks nervous. The two interact, and Henry says, I'll get straight to the point, I have a favor to ask. Until the dispute between the Hailey and the Char is over, keep yourself entertained in the Tier 1 recreation area. I also have a room waiting for you in the very important person area. Hisoka's just curious about why, and Henry then explains that the Char and Troop have joined forces against the Hailey. We, GU, have also teamed up with Char to target Hailey. If you pick a fight with the Troop now, we would have to consider you an enemy. And then, obviously, Hisoka being, again, the agent of chaos he is, says, I don't mind. chaos doesn't bother me. And Henry says, yeah, I'm not surprised, but frankly, we, or rather I, don't want to fight you. I know we wouldn't stand a chance against you or the troop. This is said as if it's in a speech bubble, but I also wonder if it's Henry whispering this, because Hisoka does look at Henry and they both look at each other basically. Hisoka then says, I have a question. Who do you think will win, me or the troop? Henry then responds with, I'm sorry, but I'm a Spiders fan. Hisoka then says, who's your fave? And he says, all of them. So it seems like there's a lot of Phantom Troop fanboys on board this Black Whale right now. Hisoka then says, I don't dislike honest people, but if they pick a fight, I can't refuse. And Henry says, that's fair enough. That's understood. And I also love this interaction here. I love that we're getting to see a little bit more of Hisoka now and his personality. And it is just more of the same again, but it's always enjoyable to see him on screen because he is the absolute wild card in the series. Whenever there's a storyline and Hisoka is involved, there's always that possibility of Hisoka turning tables on a winning factor or even the losing factor. And I personally love him for that. I would love to see Hisoka stay around for as long as possible. It's at this point we get to see Underboss Wang talking to the soldier who is waiting for Henry while Henry speaks to Hisoka. Wang immediately susses out what the soldier is doing here, figuring out that why on earth would a soldier of his pay grade be stood outside here for no reason without any other guards. The two then talk to each other. Wang convinces the soldier, well, I say convinces, he basically intimidates this guy. The soldier then gives up that he was going to sell the location of the Haley's secret hideout to use Henry, but he figures he'll turn the information into an auction and send it to the highest bidder. Wang then says, I won't compete with him, I'll pay the same as you, and we'll tag along when Henry arrives. How much? Then he says 50 mil total, 30 mil deposit. Wang then says, trust me, we'll get every last one of them. And I want to point out that apparently every person that this dude smiles at passes away, and I want to say that if this man smiled at me in real life, I would also most likely pass away, because that is the most horrifying smile I've ever looked upon in my life. We then see Wang and Henry walking towards the Haley hideout. We see them approaching the door there and they knock on the door and they send Soldier Man in first. Soldier Man goes through the door while Wang and Henry hold the sides. Soldier Man walks into the door and then all of a sudden he disappears. The old man is sat down on his bed saying, please don't shoot, I've done nothing wrong here, by the way. Soldier Man walks in there and then he is gone. Wang and Henry look in here and notice that the soldier is gone. Before stepping through, Henry throws a knife at the old guy, noting that the knife didn't disappear, so there can't be any tricks on the doorway. They ask where the guard had went and the old man replies, maybe to the bathroom. And he says, anyway, come on in. But I want to point out here that he says, please, come on in, come on in. It's repeated multiple times here. But this is an interesting ability. We think that this could be the same ability that we saw in the previous panels here. They're talking about a door ability, in which case, the soldier guy that walked through this door is most likely dead by the other Nen users that are hiding in the room that Luini came from, which is most likely the case. Henry throws a knife at this dude and says, next time I won't miss. That's where the chapter ends, and it seems like things are starting to heat up now. If you did enjoy this chapter, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Maybe share it with a friend, and let me know in the comments down below what you thought of the chapter. What's your predictions for the next one? What was your overall thoughts on this one? And where do you think it's going? But I'll catch you guys in the next one. Much love, big kisses, bye bye.